The Square Ball Podcast.
The show's brought to you with Levi Solicitors. You can get a 10% discount on your legal fees for a whole range of services. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Dan, Michael and Rob in today to preview the upcoming games. Chelsea at the weekend, followed by Manchester City here in the preview section, the regular part 2 of the weekly show in which we look at the teams and the clubs that we're going to face and talk about them.
And sometimes do some prep.
Because, I mean, if you remember a couple of weeks back, was it the December the 2nd show, about 32 minutes in, when we...
that was the one.
We did the preview for, what they called, Palace and what they called the other one?
Yeah, QPR.
Brentford. We did the preview for those games and we did extensive notes. I said did extensive notes. You got some screen grabs off whoscored.com.
Correct.
Forgot Brentford, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2 games in a week. We don't do this. We're a Premier League team now. We shouldn't have to play 2 games in a week. Ridiculous.
And anyway, we've got Chelsea and Manchester City. Chelsea, quite a lot of information there. Michael, thank you for that. I was scrolling down there and it says Manchester City away is the headline font, and then under that it says 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening.
There you go.
And then couldn't beat us last season because they're shit. Tried to kill Rafinha, very naughty. And that's the Man City preview done. Then let's preview Chelsea.
You have said we're playing Chelsea at home, which isn't right.
Oh, that's.
I mean, what a shambles.
What I've done there is I've just deleted the word Brentford that was there before and not changed the bit in brackets. I do know we're not at home. Yeah, 3 p.m. on a Saturday as well. That's thrown me.
That's a novelty, isn't it?
What's that about? Do you think it'll catch on as a kick-off time?
No, especially when you think about it, it's the champions of Europe playing the champions of Europe. So it should have been televised. I mean, will we be able to watch it somehow?
No, because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff in the United Kingdom, and you can't get it.
Does Noel Whelan, would he be able to tell us maybe?
I mean, he may know of someone, or someone who hacked his account may know of a way of getting these games. Who knows? Right,
all the joking apart, this is the bit that everyone was worried about, innit? This run into Christmas. I mean, you look at these 2 fixtures and I just sort of quietly chuckle to myself and think, well, we're going to lose both, but...
We're getting Chelsea at a good time.
But yeah, if there is a good time to play Chelsea, it might be now because they're wobbling a little bit. It's the first proper drop in form they've had under Tuchel, isn't it? And obviously Man City follow that. We beat them last season, so there's always a hope. There's always a hope, even if, heart says that, head goes no.
Yeah, I mean... They were fortunate to beat Watford, and then they did lose to West Ham, and they could only draw against Scum in their last 3 games. And then none of those are particularly good results, so maybe there's something in it for us.
They are playing in Russia tomorrow as well against Zenit, which, maybe a bit of travel tiredness there, although albeit they are top of their group, so I can just probably send the reserves.
Send Lewis Baker. Yeah. They're not that desperate.
Was it Zenit that Victor Orta used to be at?
Oh, you're asking actual football questions there.
I'll look at you, Rob, because you're more likely to have done research.
I don't actually know. Was it them or Spartak Moscow? I don't know.
So someone over that way.
I'm just naming Russian clubs.
Great bunch of lads anyway. No, I just wondered. Chelsea have got a very expensive and talented squad.
Yes, I think. Do you know what? I think I've had a think.
Yeah,
I've had a think, and I think he was at Zenit.
Any further data on that that's just popped into your mind?
I think he helped to recruit Hulk. The Brazilian,
big green fella.
Yes, that's the fella. Yeah, I just remembered that.
And why did he leave? What was the?
He joined Elche in Spain. I don't know why exactly. I think it was always a secret.
Was it to be a sporting director?
Yeah, but then he was recruited by Middlesbrough in, I think it was December 2015.
Right. Oh yeah.
As the head of recruitment. Yeah. And he was the one who picked Aitor Karanka famously as well. So that's just some stuff I've remembered.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that.
No worries.
What else have you remembered?
If you need anything else remembering,
are you the man?
Yeah, just give me 5 minutes though. Got to really dig deep sometimes.
So, although it is a good time to face Chelsea, they are still third, and they're only a couple of points behind Man City.
Yeah, they're dead good, aren't they? Got a squad full of dead good players, really expensive players.
It's quite frightening. Our last win against them was in 2002, and James Milner was on the scorers that day. That doesn't seem to make sense.
Although he is still playing, it's better than him being retired. So there is that one little crumb of comfort.
Yeah, I mean, it was 20 years ago. It really is more to the James Milner's credit that he played in that game and is still playing now. But it's hard to see us getting anything.
I mean, I'm just looking at the.
But Tuchel didn't beat us last year, did he?
No.
It was 0-0 in his game. It was Frank Lampard who, of course, laid the foundations for the Champions League win, as he said. Did you see the thing he did with Gary Neville?
I didn't watch it. I'm not.
I've only seen the little clip of it.
Can I just ask before you tell me? Don't spoil the surprise. But does he hold himself in quite high regard?
Well, what he says, "Oh, yeah, I watched it." I said, "I'm watching, Chilwell to Mount." I'm thinking, it's a bit of me that is good. But I mean,
so I can't take
any credit for it.
I can't take any credit for one player passing to another, but I am.
Yes,
right.
And then he said, "Other people have said, that was your team, but it wasn't."
What
was it?
What we've done here, you see, is we've sort of dispensed with the actual game at hand and just started trashing an aspect about the club that we're about to face to mask the fact that we don't really know what's going on.
Well,
I was going to say, for the blog, I spoke to actual professional footballer Hadi Gandor, who's a massive Leeds fan, and wanted to chat to me more about being a Leeds fan than being a professional footballer. But he went to Stamford Bridge last year when there was that limited capacity, so he was in with the Chelsea fans. And when Bamford scored after a minute, he jumped up and then sort of blew his cover and then had to run to the toilet, pretending he just needed the loo, and started Snapchatting himself celebrating in the toilet, which I quite like.
So yeah, strengths and weaknesses. I mean, we're looking at the who scored data here. Their only weakness is protecting the lead. Other than that, finishing scoring chances very good, creating chances using through balls very good. Very good. I say very good. I mean very strong. Individual skill strong, attacking down the wing strong, shooting from direct free strong, defending set strong.
A lot of strongness.
Although they're non-aggressive, so that's fine.
Who's going to annoy us the most in this game? Let's talk about something we can get on board with. I don't really like Jorginho. Something about him. There's the Mason Mount.
I was going to say Mount's still got that derby thing, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got the derby bit. So I don't know. I feel like Rudiger might annoy me a bit as well.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be the pantomime villain.
Yeah.
He's good, don't he?
Yeah.
Kind of why it's annoying.
I quite like Reece James's sort of semi-vacant look. He's a dead good footballer, but he always looks slightly vacant, doesn't he?
He's very good as Reece James, actually. Yeah. I think he'd be... maybe we should get him once Luke Ayling retires. We could probably afford him, couldn't we?
I would say so.
Sure, Chelsea give him away for about £80 million or something. Yeah, they've got loads of good players.
Their keeper did go mad in the last game, didn't he? When they got beat at West Ham. So, yeah, maybe just hope he has a bit of a Kiko day.
Just sign another one. That's what they did last time. Spent 70 million on one and went, he's no good, this one. Just buy another.
That's insane. I mean, that really is insane. And again, parking the humorous side of this, if it can even be classed as that, parking that for 1 minute, it's just a really sobering reminder of the disparity in the Premier League and the joylessness of it, that you have to look at a fixture and think, well, that overwhelmingly there's no chance we get anything from this, although a chance does always remain. We know that. You never want to write off your own team, do you? You want to hope there's something in there for you, but what's the point?
It's a bit annoying as well how many times they have like a crisis season and panic and think it's all terrible and gone to shit, and then it's like, well, you've got a £500 million squad and you're just going to sack the manager, get a new one, win the Champions League. Like, yeah, it sounds all right.
What a
really.
terrible crisis that proved to be, wasn't it?
Do it properly, like we did. A big old relegation.
Well, this is the irony that we're just spinning forward to Man City for the Tuesday evening game. Is they did. I mean, we were talking about clubs that should be let into the Premier League, according to our own whims and quirks and foibles and all the rest of it. Man City, they had a little dance in League One, didn't they? Not so long ago.
Yeah, it was only 25 years ago. Not very long.
Not long though, is it? Only feels like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it does feel.
But they've done all right since.
They seem to be doing fine, don't they? And they've invested a bit of money in the club, haven't they, as well since then? So.
It'll be nice to see Jack Grealish again if he's playing, because they didn't even really need him, did they?
Not really. They don't seem to know what to do with him either, do they? Now they've got him.
Yeah, it always seemed like that at the time, didn't it? And now Pep's saying, well, if you don't come good this season, it's a worry. And you think, Christ.
Has he said that?
Yeah, I think someone asked him if it might take him until next season to kick into gear. And he said, well, that would be a worry if he didn't perform this season.
At £100 million.
But I mean, then you've just got Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus. It's not like the short of options, is it really?
Phil Foden
and Silva as well. Yeah. He's scored loads of goals this year, hasn't he?
That's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, they're doing all right, aren't they? It's hard to... Man City are a completely different team, aren't they? To go back to, the kind of Premier League of our youth, I don't associate this Man City with the old one.
It's a different club. It's like a Phoenix club, isn't it?
I think because it's a new stadium as well, it feels completely like a different beast than the one that was managed by
Man City
Joe Royle.
of that era was a bit kind of like us, kind of an underachieving, never really winning enough, versus a club that they hate in the same city, kind of thing. In that kind of that second tier of clubs, if you like, that were never in the mix every year. They sort of did all right. Sometimes they get to fourth, and that was it. Might get relegated, but then this is weird, isn't it? This version of them, it just shows you how much football as a whole has changed, doesn't it? Because
their rise came as we were out of the Premier League. I always sort of didn't mind them because I actually preferred them winning it over Scum or over Chelsea. So when they stopped that happening, I thought, oh well, that's all right.
Yeah,
I kind of don't mind it so much, and I don't mind Man City as a whole. I think their fans are generally all right, which I know is, if you're a Brentford fan still listening to this, you might find upsetting that I've praised someone else. But I don't have any particular objection to them as a club, other than the fact that they've spent billions of pounds of sovereign wealth on footballers, which is giving them a huge advantage over everybody else, which I'm not a big fan of, really. But, You do wonder if there'll be like another cycle in football, don't you, where the likes of Chelsea and Man City ever fall away from the top, even just a little bit? Is the whole system gamed in their favour now that's never going to happen again? Are you suggesting if their owners went to prison or something, maybe they would have to? Whatever it might be. Or, who knows that if Abu Dhabi gets bored of funding Man City, and then maybe they get somebody who comes in like I don't know, if someone does what the Glazers did and just buys it all out with debt, something like that, Yeah, I mean, if they just improve other things, they don't need the sports washing, I suppose, do they? So they might dispense with it. They might be like, what we've done is we just improve workers' conditions and we don't need to buy footballers anymore. We've decided that's the cheaper way of doing it. We've been outpriced. It's better to just pay people properly and make sure people don't die, I suppose, rather than buying Jack Grealish again. So maybe that'll be the thing that'll turn them. It does go to show like the task at hand in trying to break into that upper echelon, doesn't it? Even getting into the top 6, 7 European places when you've got so many of them that are nailed on with being up there. The thing with Man City as well, and Chelsea, is that because they've been at the top for so long and had so much money invested, their youth team and everything is brilliant as well. So, like when Leeds played Man City the other day, Palmer, who's played for their first team, was just absolutely taking the piss of our children in defence. He was like leaving them on their arse every 2 minutes because he's a Premier League footballer and they've been able to recruit him and put him into the best training camp in the world, sort of thing. And it takes forever to catch up with these people, which is I think the depressing aspect of it, because it's like, how much money do you need to spend over how long to get to the point where you're at that level? And they've still not won the Champions League, which is what the whole thing is designed to do. It's the same with PSG, isn't it? And yet, all that said, everything, whole system loaded in their favour, we still beat them last season with 10 men. And that is the beauty of football, isn't it? That you can catch somebody on the right day with a favourable wind and you just happen to do the right thing. And like we sat deep and hit him on the break, and Alioski plays pass of the season, and Dallas is having the season of his life. And when all those things come together, you get an amazing moment. And that was one of the best, if not the best moment last season. So, despite all that shit, there's still something there, isn't there? Oh, there is. It can still happen. I mean, within our relatively recent past, we've been to Old Trafford as a League One team and won. These things are possible. We've been to Crawley and lost. I don't know if you remember that one. We've been to Sutton and lost. Speaking of the cup earlier, so it's drew at home to Brentford as well, which came as a shock against such a small club. Yeah, that was a real upset, wasn't it? Them getting a point, was that a cup game? I don't know. I can't remember. These things just, I think it must have been. Yeah, it just escaped my mind so often. Anyway, so expect no points. Yeah. Anything we get from it, bonus. I think you have to view it as that, don't you? Which is incredibly defeatist, I know. But hey, welcome to the Square Ball podcast. But I'm sure, I mean, I've not looked at it, but I'm sure if you look at the odds, they will tell you the same story. We are very, very unlikely to win these games, but we might. And if we did, it'd be piss funny, which is the nice thing as well, because we'd be not only getting points for ourselves, we'd be messing up title challenges, which is fun. Part 2 of the show wrapped up there for you on YouTube. Head over and watch Part 3. Heroes and Villains is coming for you next.
The Square Ball Podcast.